A few years ago, I got a call that changed my life. It was the office manager of the clinic I was working at who said something that completely sideswiped me. She told me my mentor, who owned the medical office I was working at, got COVID and ended up passing away. And the next thing you know, I'm left with no direction in life, as everything I helped build was taken away from me immediately. I lost my job, my mentor, and my direction in life. I remember that being such a low feeling for me. I felt everything had been taken away from me without my ability to do a single thing to stop it. It felt crazy to me because I knew I was capable of so much more. But I was afraid because I knew I was capable of so much more, and if I let this path spiral down, I was going to end up a sad, bitter, and regretful old man. Maslow is a psychologist who probably is best known for his hierarchy of needs, which simply says humans are motivated by 5 basic categories of needs. We have our psychological needs, our safety, our love, our self-esteem, and our self-actualization. But you're probably familiar with this theory. But Maslow also said something else that you might not have heard of. I hadn't, but when I did, it really changed how I viewed myself and the decisions I was making in my life. He said this: "That which we can be, we must be." It's a very simple sentence, but what does it really mean? Well, to me, at that moment in my life, having my mentor pass away and being left with no direction, it meant that we all feel we have the potential for greatness. After all, nobody thinks they're average. You probably think you're an above average driver, an above average lover, or above average intelligence. Now, obviously this can't all be true. We can't all be above average. And yet I do believe that each of us possess the potential for greatness. For me, as my mentor passed away and my job and identity were stripped from me, I didn't feel great, but I believed, perhaps even delusionally, that I still had the potential for greatness. And so, from that rock bottom place where I had literally nothing else to lose, I went on a search and a quest to find my greatness. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I tapped into that to go from a poor kid raised by a single mother on food stamps who overcame his mentor dying to now a $150K a month agency owner in only 2 years. My whole life, I just wanted success. I craved the normal childhood, the white picket fence, the minivan, and internally I told myself, not only am I going to achieve what everybody else has done, I'm going to go above and beyond and be more successful than all of them. As a kid, I used to have nightmares about these various monsters chasing me, and I could only run away in slow motion. Or if I went to attack these monsters in my dreams, I could feel myself held back, not able to throw a punch. If you get into Sigmund Freud dream analysis, this is a common dream type that shows up for people that are feeling held back by something in their lives. My whole life, I felt held back by the fact that I was poor and didn't have the opportunities everyone around me had. I always knew deep down I had the potential for success, but I ran into a big problem stopping me. I realized how difficult it is to break out of a poor scarcity mindset. As I got older, I began to realize how much of a head start rich kids get in life. I realized how my family didn't have excess cash to build skills. When you grow up poor, you don't get access to the best nutrition, the best tutors, and the best coaches. It's hard to build up to this person of great success and conquer and take over the world when you're just struggling to get food on the table that night. I began to realize I had to work twice as hard as everyone else just to get half as far. So I started doing what I thought was normal for me to start accelerating my path, and I got a job. As a teenager, I began to work at Office Depot for $8 an hour. I got up for 5 a.m. shifts to unload boxes for a year and a half. While most kids my age were out partying, joining frats, I was doing what's necessary to help out my family. I began to crave a bigger path. I knew deep down that I was destined and capable of so much more. This is where I had a very important realization. Whenever I would hear these social media gurus tell me to figure out what I wanted to do in life, or someone would ask me what I wanted to do with my life, I just knew that I wanted to help as many people as possible. I wasn't sure exactly what that meant, and even to this day, that definition changes. But it led me to a very important step down my first path. I made the decision that I wanted to become a doctor. I didn't care how long it took. I didn't care how long I had to take classes or be in school. I was ready to do anything possible. Upon making that decision, I realized the best place to learn was in a clinic. So I got a job in an integrated medical clinic. This is where I met one of my first mentors and got my first serious job, moving me towards a better path in life. Little did I know that this path was about to take a drastic turn. Over the next few years, this mentor helped show me what it means to be a man, a business owner, a father, and a great doctor. I watched the care and energy he gave to his patients and the connection they felt with him. He truly was one of the best positive male role models I had ever had. You see, I did everything in that clinic and I worked my ass off. I got every certification I could think of. I spent hours researching new techniques on how to help our patients get out of pain and live better lives. I did everything I could for this clinic. As I was taking care of my family, working full-time, going to school, and flipping and selling anything I could on the side to stay afloat, I started to have another realization that something had to give. That's when I stumbled upon a book that was truly transformative to me, and I can say honestly changed my life forever. The book is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the substance of which is not anything too insanely groundbreaking. However, the biggest factor of this book was the timing. This book came into my life at the exact moment I needed it to. In the book, Robert Kiyosaki talks about the importance of a business as a vehicle to true success. And most people that are even the most skilled at what they do can still end up poor, working traditional jobs, and following the normal path that society tells you to follow. You see, I was always scrappy. I was flipping and selling sneakers, technology, mining crypto, everything I could to keep money coming in on top of school and life. But another realization started to creep in. There is no way I can work at this clinic for $15 an hour, support my family, and go to medical school at the same time. During this time, certain life circumstances led me to take the responsibility of adopting my 15-year-old brother and becoming his primary caretaker. That's a topic for another video and a situation around which is something I'd rather not discuss publicly. However, reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad changed my life forever. I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, we need to start a business. It's the only way I can break through this same bullshit cycle. I didn't have a degree, so the only thing that was going to accelerate my income and change my family's cycle of poverty was me. I began watching all the gurus online, trying to decipher which business model I should go into. I was actually planning to use my tax return money that year to invest in a 3D camera and start a real estate photography business. Little did I know that something big was about to happen that would throw a wrench in my plans so big, it would change my life forever. You see, while working at this clinic, a little thing called COVID happened. The big cough was not the thing that changed my life forever. It was one key event that I still believe the creators of The Matrix and the script writers of My Life movie couldn't have scripted any better. During C19, I worked in the clinic the entire time. We didn't shut down once. I saw patients the entire time and kept sharpening my sword, learning from my mentor and learning from those around me. I was happy to continue helping patients even if I was putting myself at risk. So I kept putting my head down, continuing my work. I worked, took care of my brother, my mother, my girlfriend, and those around me. I was repeating this cycle of doing what was necessary and what society expected from me. I kept repeating this cycle until one day I got a phone call that changed my life forever. The office manager had called me outside of work to let me know that the head doctor, my mentor, had contracted COVID and suddenly passed away. My heart sunk. I lost my mentor, the head doctor. I felt so sad for him and his family. I also began to worry, expecting the obvious. The clinic I had worked so hard to help build was going to have to close its doors after this loss. My mind began to race with what I was going to do. I lost my mentor, my boss, my clinic, and on top of that, the whole world is shut down from COVID. I truly did not know what I was going to do next. I mean, what would you do in this situation? And then I got the second phone call that week that would also change my life forever. You see, the doctor that passed away actually had a cousin. This cousin also happened to be another doctor as well. It was during this conversation that the doctor tells me, Nathan, I'm working with this marketing company. The leads are all over the place. They're supposed to be this big company, but they're not really getting me good results. And I'm not getting many patients. You're a pretty smart guy with computers. You want to take a look at it? And I basically said, sure, I've got nothing better to do. Now remember, I probably couldn't even spell marketing before this conversation. I had been in the clinic helping patients get better, but still, I had a lot of time on my hands, and it felt right to help out his cousin. I began to dive deep in the world of marketing head first. I remember falling asleep at my desk at 2, 3 a.m. multiple times working on this. I dove headfirst into the concepts of ads, funnels, social media, digital sales, ROAS, and the crazy big umbrella of marketing. This doctor showed me that most of his patients came from Google. So I took a free Google Ads course online, I put my head down that month, and after a free course and 1 month of working my ass off, I generated that doctor $40,000 in new cash in my first ever month of marketing. It was at this moment I realized, either I'm a super genius at this marketing thing or these other companies suck. Looking back at it now, I definitely feel it was a little bit of both. This unlocked a new stage in the video game of my life. It guided me down a path of self-development and kick-started the journey to becoming the person I was meant to be. In order to seize this opportunity, I had to completely revamp who I was. I had to change my beliefs about money, reverse the scarcity mindset, and I had to learn skills that seemed so foreign to me. I began to lock in and separate myself from friends, cut out all of the negative habits that were progressing me forward, and I became absolutely obsessed with this marketing thing. I began to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I began to see a future for myself, a way to take care of my family, to break generational curses, and become the person I knew deep down inside I had the potential of becoming all along. As the visions of my future dream life started to align and seem almost attainable, little did I know there was a very big shock heading my way. While starting the agency and starting to build that initial traction, the script writers of my life decided I need to be tested. And I went through one of my biggest tests yet. I had found out that my girlfriend of 4 years cheated on me. Maybe I needed to be checked. I thought, I'm 6'6", great personality, there's no way this could happen to me. And it did. This was probably one of the darkest moments of my adult life. I felt just embarrassed, ashamed that I had wasted so much time on somebody who I thought I was going to marry. But out of the ashes, a phoenix is born. Like most men who go through a heavy breakup, I locked in a way I never thought was possible. I began to work towards becoming the person worthy of being at the next level. The month of that breakup, that lock-in period, I hit the milestone most digital entrepreneurs aim for. After my girlfriend of 4 years cheated on me, I went all in that month and I made my first $10,000 in business in one single month. Looking back at my accomplishments now, this was by far the moment that I felt the most rich. I looked at my Stripe account, constantly refreshing it, and I saw $10,000 in a single month. Coming from a poor kid on food stamps, this was a life-changing moment for me. It helped reaffirm what I thought throughout my life that I was capable of becoming, but I never quite put into words. It reaffirmed the fact again that I was capable of so much more. This showed me that anything was possible, and it accelerated me down the next stage of my journey. Achieving the 10K a month milestone made me realize that so much more was possible. If I can hit $10,000 a month, why not $30,000? Why not $50,000? Why not $100,000 in a month? So I began the next stage of my journey, and I learned one skill that would change the course of my life forever. You see, this one skill has made me and my clients millions of dollars, and learning this one skill is one of the biggest reasons for my success. At 10K a month, I came across my first true coach. I'm not going to name drop his name in this video because he deserves a full video on him alone. However, the first video in his course told me to run paid ads. Within days, I had filmed, edited, shot, and launched my first Facebook ad. I spent $140 before getting my first client who paid me $1,750 a month and is still with me to this day. You see, paid advertising showed me that I could make one click of a button, run paid ads, and get my ideal clients to book calls on my calendar. This was probably the single biggest skill I've learned. This skill of which I'm probably the most known for to this day. If you ever see an ad in SMMA or the agency space that says, in the next 90 days, me and my team will come into your business. Yeah, that was me. And paid ads changed my life. Fast forward a few months. The agency is now doing around $30,000 a month, and I was blessed enough to be able to move to Miami, Florida. Miami is the most amazing city in the US, and living here really made me realize that I'm not just doing this for the money, for the clout, for the girls, whatever. I'm doing this because I needed a purpose and I need some direction to attack and focus my energy on. I needed a goal to hit. In August of 2023, I went on a podcast and said publicly, if I do not hit $100,000 by the end of September, I would do 1,000 push-ups in the middle of the street in Brickell, Miami. I remember going home that night and feeling the weight of what I just threw myself into. I just publicly agreed to challenge myself to more than triple my revenue in 1 month. I made an agreement with myself as well. I made an agreement to do whatever it took to hit that goal. I locked myself in a 600 square foot Airbnb. I got enough groceries and drinks to last a month. And I told all my family and friends they weren't going to see me this month. And I removed everything from my life that wasn't pushing me towards my goal. You see, most people just set goals, but few people actually achieve them because they underestimate the sheer workload it takes to accomplish that goal. I am 1 week into the month of September, and I'm sitting at $10,000 in revenue. At the time, I started to have doubts in myself. I remember laying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I could even hit this goal. I now have 3 weeks to make $90,000. I thought about pretending to have a family emergency, I thought about faking that I had COVID to get out of it. I remember almost tears coming to my eyes with the sheer overwhelm of what I set out to achieve. Then I realized I have no other choice than to go all in. I came out of that with furious momentum. I remember sitting down and writing an ad script that would change my business forever and impact most of SMMA. From the moment I got up in the morning until I went to bed, I did nothing that wasn't pushing me towards my goal of $100,000 in 30 days. I thought I knew what hard work was before, but nothing like this. In the gym, they call it reps to failure, where you push every single last ounce of your being towards getting out every single last rep you can. And I took that concept and I applied it towards this goal. I was willing to die to achieve this goal. I remember as I geared up towards this goal, it felt like I was going to war. I worked harder than I ever have in my life. And fast forward, we're sitting at 2 days left in the month, and I'm staring at $98,900 in my account, just a measly $1,100 away from my goal of $100,000. I remember I had a stacked calendar of demos that day, 2 days left to accomplish my goal, and I get up on my first demo call of the day, and I get an email notification from Facebook that is ingrained in my brain forever. It said, "Your access to your ad accounts have been removed." In that call, I realized someone was hacking into my ad accounts for myself and my clients. I had to immediately hop off this call, and not only that, I had to reschedule all of my demos that day and sit there and watch as someone hacked my ad account, went in and spent tens of thousands of dollars on them. One of the worst feelings ever. So I lost that entire day of sales, which left me with one final day to hit my goal. One last day to hit $100,000, or look like a failure in front of all my friends publicly. Keep in mind, I am sitting at $98,900. If I didn't make one sale that day, that month was gone. I get up that Friday with one goal in mind: give it everything I have. If I hit it, I hit it. If not, I know that I have left everything on the field and emptied my tank. After pushing harder than I ever have before, I went in and I did $30,000 in a single day, breaking all my previous records. Did you catch that? I'm going to repeat it. I made all the money I made the entire last month in one single day. And not only did I beat my goal of $100,000 in a month, I ended up doing over $130,000 in my business in that 1 month, forever solidifying one of the most important accomplishments of my life. I remember talking to a friend of mine who I called after hitting this goal, and he said, "Nathan, do you realize that now no one can take this from you? You're a $100K a month agency owner for life now." The realization of what I did didn't quite sink in yet. Within 30 to 60 days, I was on stage for a Joel Kaplan Agency Lab event, receiving my $100,000 a month award in front of everyone. I can't tell you how good it felt to be recognized publicly for all the hard work I put in on my computer alone in my room. Running an agency is truly a vehicle that changed my life forever. It's the vehicle that allowed me to buy my family cars, phones, computers, and help my mom with bills, and truly start to become the person I was meant to become all along, and I knew deep down I could always become. It truly gave me the freedom to live. I hope you got some inspiration out of listening to my story. I held out on my journey of creating on YouTube for so long because I felt as if I was a phony or shouldn't speak on certain topics until I was an expert. Now, as a multi-seven-figure entrepreneur, I'm excited to share my knowledge with you for free here on this page. So subscribe to my channel for value-based content around marketing, business, sales, life, and more. I'll leave you with one question. What is the moment that changed your life forever? Can you pinpoint that moment? Or maybe it quite hasn't happened yet. And if/when it does, what will you do to seize that opportunity?